West 2's Bob Keelan continues our team coverage this afternoon with attorneys Richard Hornsby and Jeff Dean. Bob, what does Elizabeth Fontaine's testimony do for the defense?
Well, potentially it draws the defendant, Casey Anthony, closer to the duct tape if the prosecution, as I had said, can close the circle, if you will, and introduce evidence of the sheets of similar stickers that they had confiscated from Casey's room just a day after the remains were found. So for some more analysis, let's tune to our veteran attorneys, Jeff Dean and Richard Hornsby. And Richard, what do you think the significance was of that testimony, that there was this sort of dime-shaped outline of the sticker on the duct tape?
Well, it seems clear the prosecution is trying to bring this this duct tape to Casey Anthony, but there's a bigger question which the defense is going to put in there is, what does it really mean? And that's the big question, is what does this mean? Yes, we throw it out there, but without some type of psychologist or criminal profiler to bring it back home, you've really got to wonder what the relevance is in the grand scheme of things. And Jose Baez is bringing out a big point with this piece of forensic evidence and other pieces of forensic evidence, is there always seems to be an issue with the way the evidence was collected or the way you reach the conclusions that support the state. And that's an overall theme, is that this person saw this heart-shaped sticker supposedly, but it got destroyed. And the number one thing in forensics is if you have something that's important, you have to preserve it before you go into a destructive testing process, and that wasn't done.
And Jeff Dean, we also talked about the hair. You know, we finally got a look at that single strand of hair that was in the trunk of Casey's car that had the so-called death band on it. From what you saw, how convincing was that, and what does that do for the prosecution's case?
Well, it certainly puts the hair in the car, and that's her car, and everybody knows that's her car. But Bob, we're getting to life and death decisions now. It's time for the prosecutor to wrap his case up. It's time now, and he's told everybody, it's time now to put some sort of means of death or some sort of exact evidence, even if it's only circumstantial evidence, that Kaylee Anthony was killed by her mom. We're getting to the end now, and you're going to start seeing more and more. These life and death questions are going to come down to whether or not this was where it was supposed to be, when it was supposed to be. That hair is a big issue as far as keeping that baby in the trunk of that car. Everybody's talking about Mr. Baez's win today. If it was a win, I think it was pretty much a Pyrrhic victory. The testimony that man came to give, he gave. He just didn't support it with any pictures. So we're to the end now, and these are life and death questions that have got to be answered directly, or at least with direct circumstantial evidence, if that even makes sense.
And Jeff and Richard, now that we've heard that the prosecution may be just about a day away from wrapping up, there's a lot of speculation as to whether perhaps they'll save the evidence of the tattoo that Casey got for the very end or something, but there's a lot of anticipation now as to what the final evidence from the state will be. Let's send it back to you in the studio.
All right, thank you, Bob.